Greetings, humans. How art thou today? I've had a very wild day where I've been trying to do this video about 6 different times, and I'm just going to go for it now. I have about an hour until my daughter gets home, and the store's still open, so anything goes. I had a very active and busy day at the store, and I thought it would be slow, but it wasn't. So there we go. And hopefully we've got this just under an hour to get this done. I want to talk about stress and anxiety, and why is because it seems like everybody's has anxiety and everybody's stressed. And no one gets away from it, and it is, I would say it's the #1 killer, because everything comes from the way that you handle your emotions and the way that you embody stress and how you manage your anxiety and your lifestyle. So I want to get to it. I'm trying to shorten my videos a little and get to the goodies. I do have some things I want to show you, things I like to use, and help you just understand better how to get a handle on this, because you have to. You can't just walk around a stress case all day and it not have repercussions on your health. That's just ridiculous. We know the typical story of getting an ulcer from being stressed, because we know it affects the gut. Actually, we know the gut and the mind. There's a gut brain, there's a brain, there's a heart brain, and the gut makes the serotonin for the brain and other neurotransmitters. And no one gets away from stress. Look at this world. It's absolutely insane. So much stupid going on, and also we're going through a lot of transformation, and there's a lot of expectation put on people to look a certain way, behave a certain way, be a taskmaster all the time. And hey, I know what I'm talking about, because I'm type A over here, so trust me when I say I know all about that. However, there's good stress and there's bad stress. There's managing your stress, and there's letting your stress overrun you. Let me just turn this off so it doesn't bug us. All right, so you can have your stress levels up here and your coping mechanism down here, and you're gonna buzz out. Or you could even have your stress higher, but your coping is higher, your ability to cope, and you get a lot of shit done, but you're able to manage what you're doing properly. And I like to look at it that way, because I like to be a highly effective person in my life. I do a lot, and I'm a single mom and all of that. So I have to make sure my coping is high in order to manage everything. And if I dip down, that's when this gets cuckoo. This goes really wild. So there's ways to go about that I want to talk about as well. I have some supplements I want to suggest, but here's one of the things I notice about just about everyone is nobody breathes. Nobody breathes. They're walking around shallow breathing. They're just breathing up here, just a little bit up here. That's it. Where's the deep breathing? Where's the full breaths? Are you filling your lungs all the way down to the diaphragm, all the way up to the top of the lung, right? That's important. So if you feel stressed, you're going to stop, and you're going to work the diaphragm, and you're going to take deep breaths. If you have hypertension from stress, you're going to stop what you're doing for 2 seconds. The world will not end if you don't send that fax in 2 seconds or whatever you're doing. People actually fax anymore? Anyway, right? Deep breath. And I mean through the nose, because the nose has different sensors, not through the mouth, through the nose, in and out the nose. And you're going to fill up those lungs, and you're going to just stop what you're doing, stop yourself, and breathe. Okay? So that's the first thing. That should be your go-to immediate mall. You're going to breathe. There's tons and tons and tons and tons and hundreds of different breathing techniques. You have the alternate nostril breathing that helps you get, again, cope better. You get more oxygen in your system, get more oxygen to your brain. You're handling your own molecules better, right? So breathing is number one, okay? Of course, what are you eating? What are you drinking? That's the next thing to look at. Are you drinking 10 cups of coffee a day? Because that's actually causing your stress. That's not alleviating stress. Coffee increases cortisol expression from the adrenal glands and will burn out your glands. If you are stressed and you are drinking coffee, that is the first thing that needs to go. Sorry, I know we are a culture of addicts. Coffee is a drug. It is an addiction. I hate to break your hearts, but you're using it. If you're using it as fuel, it's false fuel, and it will fail you. Drinking 1 cup of caffeine decreases your blood flow to the brain by 40%. Now, we talked about stress and coping. How is that helping your coping? Newsflash, it isn't. So your coping goes down, your stress gets frenetic, your brain can't cog anymore, things are not flowing, other than your bowels, because usually when you drink a coffee, you can take a good duke. Other than that, there's other things that help you go poop, okay? The coffee's got to go if you have stress issues. Sorry. I see people, they do this, the morning thing where they get high on their coffee, and then in the evening they drink their wine as a downer, but they don't sleep properly. Oh, hey, wonder why that could be. Well, because your coffee totally messes around with your hormones, and your alcohol, being a class 1 carcinogen and setting you up for cancer aside, is actually a stimulant. Initial response is a relaxant, so you feel chill. But in the middle of the night at 2 or 3 in the morning, it's actually a stimulant that'll keep you awake at night. It's not working for you, trust me. So there's other things that you can utilize in the wonderful world of the plant kingdom that can assist you to actually wake refreshed. I mean, how many of you actually wake refreshed? I do. Anyone else? Because I don't do the drugs. Same thing with, I know a lot of people smoke pot to chill out. Again, it's a drug. Yes, it has medicinal benefits. So does coffee. You know where I put the coffee? Up my butt. Yeah, I use it for that. Marijuana, cannabis, whatever you want to call it, your hoochie, your green Mary, whatever you call her, it has lots of medicinal benefits. It's awesome. But if you're smoking it every day, you're a drug addict. Sorry, because you are using it to control your behavior. And what I find, because I've done this, is using pot to relax, actually it's suppressive. And the next day I usually feel more stressed because I haven't dealt with the emotional aspect that I should have dealt with before I smoked it. And then the next day I'm a mental case, which does not help my stress levels, because emotionally marijuana is very suppressive. So usually there's a rebound the next day, and then you need it again, and then you need it again, and so on. Nah, fail. Use it for pain topically. Use CBD to kill cancer, sure. But are you smoking every day? Sorry, you're self-medicating, and you're not realizing that you're missing actual health in your life, that you shouldn't have to do that, okay? So proper stress, to manage stress properly, is allowing or giving the body the correct nutrition in order to remove the cortisol, the high cortisol levels, to balance the adrenaline levels, to ensure that your organ systems like your liver are working optimally, to ensure that because of your adrenals working so hard that the thyroid is taken care of. Because when the adrenals overwork, it pulls on the thyroid. How many people do I see come into my office with thyroid deficiencies, and these flippin' white coat morons just give them a thyroxine supplement, basically, a drug, right? Instead of going, oh, wait, hey, how's your stress levels? Oh, they're bad? Yeah, I would expect that since your thyroid's not working properly. So maybe we should support your adrenals and take care of that and give you some iodine and some magnesium. Let's do that instead. But they don't do that, of course. They then medicate them all to hell, and everything gets worse because nobody's addressing the actual root cause. So all of the organ systems are interactive, right? One plays off the other. There's a total hormone system in the body that makes you feel something. Ever met a menopausal woman? Yeah. Well, that's hormones, honey. Okay? That's the estrogen dropping and the imbalance of hormones causing those symptoms. And it makes women have a hard time managing stress. Okay? So all the biochemicals in your body are what interplay onto how you're feeling. That's your food, that's what you're drinking, that's what you're putting in your mouth, that's the drugs you're taking, that's your breathing, that's your sleep, okay? That's your downtime or your meditation time. All of it affects your chemicals. And it's not news. This is not news, okay? Go read Candace Pert's knowledge and her books about how the emotional, the chemicals that come from your thinking and your emotions cascade down into your body and affect your biochemistry. Molecules of emotion. Read it. Or read the Coles notes if you don't have time. Oh, I don't have time for that. I'm too stressed. I know. Who has time to read? Who has time for this? I don't. You make time because it's your life and your health and your long-term, your longevity, your legacy, right? Okay. So drink water, preferably distilled or reverse osmosis, pure water, and lots of it, quite a bit of it, and like 2 to 3 liters. Let's try that. Quit the coffee. Ease up on the caffeine. That also means chocolate. Chill on that. And what are you eating? Are you filling your belly full of garbage all day long and sugar all day long? So that's not going to help your stress levels. Sorry to break the news to you. Not going to do it. So in the morning, have lots of fruit. Eat fruit all morning. Simple. You don't even have to prep it. You can just buy organic fruit and eat it. You don't have to cut it up and make it all fancy or whatever. But if you have some time, as I will suggest, you can cut it up and make a nice fruit bowl and put some hemp hearts, which has high omega-3 fatty acids, which helps your gut and your brain and your skin and will help your stress levels with just by its very nature. You can ground up some flax seeds, which also have a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, and put that on your freshly cut up fruit. Takes 2 seconds, just, little knife, off you go. Throw it in a bowl. Hey, you want to put a little bit of kefir on there? Organic kefir? Sure. Get a good probiotics in there. The probiotics are going to help your gut, and they're going to help you think, and they're going to help your immune system. That's most of it's in the gut, or a good proportion is in the gut. Okay? So right in the morning, you have a nice glass of warm water with a bit of baking soda in it to get your duodenum all happy and your pancreas all happy. You know that it's stress that's causing a lot of the diabetes and the food and stuff, right? So you want to get control of your diabetes? Better deal with your stress. Take some baking soda in the morning to help your pancreas. Follow that by a nice cold glass of water with lemon in it. That'll make your pooper go. You don't want to be constipated. Nuh-uh. So then make your fruit bowl and eat that. Okay? If you want to do a little bit of cacao nibs and that's your little bit of caffeine kick in the morning, fine. Allow it. Sprinkle it on the food. Fine. Eat that. Then maybe make a smoothie and pack it. If you have to go to work, bring it to work and sip on that for the day. You can put cool stuff in your smoothie. You really can. You can put all the nice frozen fruit. You can sneak some stuff in there maybe you don't want to eat, like spinach or butternut squash or avocado. Something green, please. Sneak that in. Some almond milk, some coconut milk. Lots of goodies. And then you can put in some Siberian ginseng. I have this one. You can put in some maca root. That'll help your hormones. You can put in some ashwagandha or some astragalus. Those are called adaptogens. Well, some are adaptogens. Astragalus is mainly for your immune system, but it also, by virtue of supporting your immune system and your cells and your metabolism and your DNA, it's actually a longevity botanical, will reduce your stress as well. So they both will do it. Adaptogens are your friend. An adaptogen, what it does, like licorice root is one of the best adaptogens for the adrenal glands. What it does is it actually, if your adrenals are running high, they will help to lower and even it out. If they're running low, they will stimulate it and bring it up. So it'll go top or bottom. Do you like top or bottom? Amanda, stop that. Okay, so put in a teaspoon of each of those in your smoothie. That'll get you going. Hey, while you're at it, while you're drinking your smoothie, pull out some supplements that you threw in your pocket, like a B complex. How about that? Either a 50 milligram or 100 milligram B complex. That will support your entire body, but specifically adrenals and your liver, and helps you cope with stress. Anyone who has stress needs a B vitamin. That means pretty much everyone in the world needs a B vitamin, because unless you're eating a lot of good leafy vegetables and a really supreme diet, and you're not eating GMOs, and you're not ingesting tons of, Monsanto sprayed garbage pesticides that are causing your body to utilize all of those vitamins and minerals just to, get by, then you really do need to supplement, because it's not in our soils anymore and we're too toxic. We have to somehow supplement this, unless you're like hardcore doing it right, which I think there's like 5 people on the earth doing it right. All right, so you're going to have your B vitamin. Morning and night, you're going to spray your body with magnesium. I like Ease because it doesn't make you all itchy. That one. Okay, that's going to help you sleep. That's going to help you be relaxed in your musculature, so your tension. So you get the tension up here in the neck. I get that. I do that, right? Oh, where am I holding my tension? I'm holding it here, holding my gut, holding my head. Okay, let it go. Spray those areas. Once in a little while, go get a professional massage done. Treat your body, treat yourself. Oh, what's with everybody? No. Yeah. Later. Okay. These are big, heavy hitters for anxiety. If someone walks in here and says, I have extreme anxiety, I don't know what to do, I'm a frazzled mess, my hair is falling out, I say, well, first, what are you eating? What are you drinking? Whatever. I tell them about the coffee thing and all that. And then I say, are you taking magnesium? No, you're on magnesium. Are you taking a B multi? No, you're on a B multi. Take those for a few weeks, then, and do these other things, like I said. Eat some flippin' fruits and vegetables. Get off the sugar. Get off the caffeine. Get off the chocolate addiction. Get off the drugs. Come back to me. Let's talk about your levels of stress. I want you to rate your stress. After you do this, I want you to rate your stress at a 10, 10 being the highest. So where's it now? It's like 11. Okay, so it's at 11. And in 2 weeks, I want you to come back and tell me what your stress level is at out of 10. And when they do that, they say, oh, it's about a 6 or 7 now, just from those things alone. That's it. That's all they've done. Must be careful coming off of coffee, because it's a drug. You often get a horrible withdrawal symptoms, so go slow when you go off coffee. I like to blend it with dandelion root. I like to blend it with chicory root. I like to blend it with chaga, mushroom extract, things that are nice to blend with coffee. Okay, so that's sort of your baseline. That's baseline stuff. Sleep. Are you sleeping? What, you know what I see a lot of the time? People say, I'm not sleeping, help me. I say, well, what happens? Is it, can you go to sleep fine, but then you wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning? Or is it a hard time falling asleep? Which is it? The people who say they have a hard time going to sleep, I say, oh, so you're probably thinking about all the things you need to do the next day, and your mind is going like crazy, and you're laying in bed and you're thinking about stuff, right? Yeah. Oh, good. Okay, so what I want you to do is before bed, I want you to sit, not lay, sit on your bed, have a little journal and a nice, just a dedicated, pretty little journal with a nice pen. next to you, and I want you to sit there and I want you to meditate for 5 minutes. And all that means is just sit and focus on your breath, and whatever thoughts start to come to your forefront of your mind, just write them down. Oh crap, I didn't pick up the dry clean, write it down. Oh my gosh, I forgot I had to make the thing for the thing and this thing and the thing. Write it down. Oh, I forgot the school plays tomorrow. Shit, oh, I'm gonna do this in the morning. Write it down, okay? And so what that does is consciously frees your brain from the stress worry, the cyclical mind tapes that go around and around and around in your head. That's not healthy. Get that out of your mind. You want to empty the mind, because then your oversoul or God would, can speak. How do you think I know so much shit? You think I know this? I empty my mind. And if you did it, you'd know a lot too. So that's how it begins. All right. Now, I've meditated on the top of a Himalayan mountain in India for 10 days, without speaking. And I've done all that kind of stuff. I've done the heavy stuff. I've been to ashrams and done, days on the end of meditating to practice it. You don't have to do that. You just need to start to quiet the mind and then write that stuff down. Okay, so those people then who, also if they can't go to bed at the beginning, I also suggest they do a nighttime routine. Spray down with magnesium, take a chamomile tea. Hops is also very nice. I have a few sleepy blends. This one is called Restorative Sleep. I make this blend. I wildcraft I go and find the herbs and dry them and put them in here. These are all local herbs. I put hemp leaf in it, if you know what I mean. See, there's an appropriate use for cannabis. This is the leaf, not the bud. So a little bit of tea of the leaf is enough to relax you. You don't need to smoke a big bowl. You don't need to have a big old stove in your mouth. That's overkill. Just a little bit. Dose is everything. Lemon balm is another nice calm. You want to have your tea just after dinner. Just start to relax. You want to get into bed before 10 o'clock. Hello. That's the other thing I noticed about coffee drinkers. They're up to like 2 in the morning. How are you supposed to rehabilitate your body if you're not sleeping and you're not going to bed before 10 o'clock at night? You're supposed to go to bed by 10 o'clock so that your liver is going to get most of the healing time in your adrenals, and get up when the sun comes up. You're supposed to work with the sun, people. So 7 o'clock is when you're up and ready to go for the day. Early bird catches the worm, don't you know? All right, lavender is another one in here. Sage, marshmallow root is very demulcent and soothing. See, a lot of people have a lot of stress issues because of their guts, like I said. So demulcents or things that soothe the gut, you'll also find in the literature helps with sleep, or helps with, sleep and stress. So, and to relax you, right? So mints, the mint family. So actually lavender is a mint. And the fennel as well, fennel seed. Because again, it's a carminative. It helps to support digestion in the gut. It's a fine link between digestion, your adrenals, and the way that you feel. So you are what you eat in that regard. And also the taking something for the gut and eating properly in the evening is what prevents the second type of problem when sleeping, where you wake in the middle of the night. You go to bed fine, you fall asleep okay, but then you wake in the middle of the night. That's the adrenals surging. There's a cortisol surge that happens at a wrong time. And then you're up, your heart's racing, you can't get back to sleep. You might start reading something or whatever, or get up and do something because you can't sleep. That's telling you, when someone says that to me, I know their adrenals are in fatigue mode. You need to start to treat the adrenals properly and need to eat the right amount of calories to take you through the night as well, because oftentimes they'll say, what are they eating? They're eating too much carb, or they're eating just not enough calories during the day, or too much sugar, just empty calories during the day. So I get them on a proper eating schedule, and that usually solves that type of insomnia. Now, there are a lot of different, again, botanicals and remedies for insomnia that you can utilize to try to get through the night. And one of them is melatonin, of course. That's a very popular one. Yes, you're right. Lemon is technically a mint as well. And someone said, which magnesium? This is the magnesium I recommend, the topical ease, because it's absorbed better through the skin. The gut does not absorb magnesium very well, and especially in people who are stressed, they are having gut problems, and they're going to absorb maybe 15% of what they put in their mouth as far as magnesium goes. That's just not enough. You can take it internally too. You can take it as a supplement as well, but you're not going to get enough. So that's why I suggest to do that. And Epsom salt baths as well, because Epsom salts will give you magnesium. And there is a wonderful study that I read that was done by naturopaths, and it showed that before the bath they had a certain level of blood magnesium, and after the magnesium bath they had a much higher level of magnesium in the blood. So it does go transdermal. There is evidence of this, not just in how you feel, but also in the literature. All right. Those who can't sleep, that's a huge problem on stress. How are you supposed to function when you're tired all day? I think a lot of the stress is people just dead tired all day, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating to push through pain. That's another big stressor. And it's frustrating to push through fatigue. And I think most people are both or either of these most of the time. That's not right. That is not right. That is not normal. It's not the new normal. It's wrong. So if you're chronically fatigued and you're chronically in pain, you have to deal with that. That is not appropriate. That is not acceptable. Don't accept that. And don't suppress it either. Deal with it properly. So I do have some very interesting remedies that can help. So what I was saying is melatonin. Melatonin goes well with B6 and GABA. After I had a baby, my sleep schedule was really messed up, just because I had to wake often to nurse, and that's pretty normal. But I found after I finally weaned her, so I nursed her for 3 years, and after I weaned her, I still was on that schedule. I couldn't get into a good routine, and I'm like, if I don't sleep through the night, there's something wrong. I have to sleep through the night. That is a must. So I will work for that always. And I started to use GABA. I started to use L-theanine as well. L-theanine comes from tea. It's an extract from tea. And I also used B6 and, of course, the magnesium. And I would do a little bit of a tea in the evening, but not too much, just a little bit. I think I was using lemon balm. I think I had a little bit of valerian because I don't have a hot liver. My liver can handle valerian. Some people can't handle valerian, so be careful with that one. It is a calming agent. You'll often see people at health food stores say, oh, use valerian to sleep. You got to be very careful with valerian. It's very easy to go over the dose, and then you get the opposite effect. You're up all night, so you have to be careful. So as people who have toxic livers, they can't actually, they get a backlog of the botanical that has to obviously be pulled through the liver. Once it's done, and they can't, it just recirculates. It's too high of a dose for them. So it would be micro dosing if they use it at all. So I think I was using that, and I don't remember, but I usually, oh yeah, definitely chamomile. Yeah, that's it for sure. I do that each evening, and finally got my sleep schedule in the right place, meditating before bed. I'm going to bed around 10 o'clock at that time and waking at 7. I retrained myself to sleep well, and that was a huge component in dealing with my stress and functioning the next day, not feeling tired. I was still using coffee. Like after I weaned, I couldn't drink coffee the whole time I was nursing, right? It's not good for the baby. So I kind of was like, I'm going to drink coffee like all the time. I'm going to just bulletproof my coffee. That's how I'm going to excuse the behavior. And in the long run, it didn't serve me. It actually ended up making me stay up too late, and I got out of my habit again. So I had to put my own discipline back and get back together again. But that's how I did it, using those things. Melatonin doesn't work for everyone. It also has a side effect of making a lot of dreaming, and some people don't like that. I do. I'm a dreamer. I like to dream, so I don't mind it so much. So another adaptogen, we have rhodiola. This is as a tea, so you can use it that way. And then the licorice root, I have it as an extract. It's like a gooey extract, it's very strong. After naturopathic college, I was like, actually in starting third year naturopathic college, I was burnt out. My adrenals were cooked, just cooked. I mean, this is med school and it's weird school. Like it's like constant studying and tests and it's so like you don't have a life. You lose your friends. It's just all immersive, like 24/7 med school insanity, right? So I just got really burnt out in my third year. So I started to learn about what I had to do to rehabilitate my adrenal glands. And to this day, now that's what, 10 years later, I still have a sensitivity in that gland. It's like once you've had an injury to an organ system or gland, it's like ever a little bit sort of delicate or tender for a while. And so I have to really be aware of that I can't just drink a ton of coffee and get away with it. I can't just go have a bevy of wine or some kind of cocktail and get away with that. It's going to have a repercussion. So it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to me. I'd rather feel good. The other thing that I talk about when people say I'm stressed or I'm even depressed, I said, so how much are you exercising a week? Oh, I don't exercise. I don't get a chance to. Like, you make a chance to, because that in and of itself is one of the single most important things you can do, even if it's 10 minutes. Like what I do is at least 4 times a week, I go for a jog in the morning. And it doesn't have to be, work a sweat up, get your muscles going, do some deep breathing, move that blood, get some toxins out of your body. I just like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's not long. It doesn't have to be long. Make it your priority to take care of yourself. And then you come back, have a quick shower to start the day fresh. Make a fresh pressed orange juice or something like that and get going on your day. You feel so much better when you do that, when you start your day like that, and really take care of your body and really allow your deep breathing. And some people would like to do yoga in the morning. See, I like yoga, I like stretching, but I like that more in the evening. I'm more of a evening stretcher person. But in the morning, I'm like, I got so much to do. I got to get, the heart rate has to go. Like, I got to get moving here. So gentle yoga in the morning is not my thing. Like sweating and probably swearing is my thing. So then I get home, I'm sweaty, I shower, I put my clothes on, and off I go, right? And it just sustains me through the day. That's a coping. That helps the coping. The coping goes high. The stress is less, the coping's high. If you're not exercising, you're missing a humongous therapy. That's free. You can just put shoes on and go outside. Well, maybe put some clothes on too, probably, and run or go for a bike ride, something. But you've got to do it. I'm sorry, you just gardening isn't enough. Although sometimes I argue, because I do work up a good sweat of gardening, but gardening is not enough. It has to be rigorous, something rigorous. Okay, at least 4 times a week. You want to manage anxiety, you better start moving your body. All right. So how are we doing for time? Okay, we're getting there. I do have omega-3 fatty acids in supplement form. You can do that. You can take also L-glutamine. I have it in capsule or powder. The L-glutamine supports the gut and also is a neurotransmitter of the brain. So it does help you think. It does help you brain. It helps you have good gut integrity, helps you absorb your nutrients better. That's when I do help with, because oftentimes I'll patients, their mind's a mess, but their gut's a mess. That's where it's coming from. So you have to deal with the gut if you want to deal properly with anxiety and stress. It has to happen. That's why there are studies done where you take a probiotic, they give them a probiotic, and it reduces anxiety. Just the probiotic alone. If my I can feel her stress is going high, I pop her a few probiotics, and immediately she can cope better. But don't underestimate the whole gut process. You go to these doctors and, I'm stressed, or have anxiety. Well, let's sign you up for the head doctor, guy, girl, whatevs, and let's make sure you're on a lot of drugs, okay, that totally mess you up and cause suicidal ideation. How's that for you? And then, oh, by the way, we're not going to tell you they're almost impossible to get off of. They're very difficult to get off of, and good luck with that. But bye-bye. right? We're not going to check and make sure your vitamin D levels are where they should be. Then we're not going to check your magnesium. We're not going to make sure you're actually not eating just Doritos all day, or ding dongs or whatever. Oh, we're not going to ask any of those questions. The amount of coffee or alcohol that you're consuming. Yeah, maybe we'll ask it on their little, but we won't even care, because apparently you're allowed to eat anything and drink anything in their world, in their little la cult. Not the case. All right. So please, these are the checklists you have to go down. Am I doing these things? Now the problem is, if you have a lifestyle that is like, if you have financial stress, if you have abuse, you're in an abusive situation, these kinds of things, there's other priorities that will go ahead of that, right? Getting out of the abusive situation, obviously, figuring out the financial situation. But even in the interim, if you can change a couple of those things, you'll be able to think better, and you will come up with better ideas to get yourself in a better situation. So try not to watch the excuse train in your brain that tells you can't do it. Okay? You can even write that out. All your I can'ts, everything your mind is trying to convince you that you're not capable. Write that all down. And then do a line, and then write on the other side, and then rewrite it. I can do it. I will find another way to do it. I do have more help than I realize. I am supported by, loving people in my life. All these kinds of things. You have to take some control, in a way that is empowering. Otherwise, you just make excuses for your behavior, and you continue the cycle. So the up here has to be gotten under control. Another nice thing I do have, because these systems need to detox, is, I talk a lot about the Yunda liver kidney drainage kits. Well, there's a biotherapeutic drainage kit for stress and insomnia as well. And it has Calm Gen in there and 3 different Undas. And you can put about 10 drops of each in the same glass of water and drink that 2 to 3 times a day. And it's restorative to the nervous system that is like on fire, that isn't calmed down. I mean, I've had a few cases where they're so frenetic, they're so far beyond, like you see in a lot of fibromyalgia cases, that the nervous system is so damaged that the brain is not working well for them. Obviously, they can't work in their lives properly. They're in chronic pain, chronic fatigue. So this is a good place for them to start, because it's so gentle. It's not so intense. Like a lot of these types, they can't even take botanical supplement. It's too stimulatory, right? Like anything that sets off the nervous system, it puts, it's a whole trigger factor. But that's a really nice one. Another one to have in your handbag is a favorite of mine, and I've utilized it and seen its marvelous effects, is the Picana Size Stabil. This is pretty cool because it'll actually stop a panic attack, like in its tracks. I was actually having a panic attack. So I'm empathic, which means I have a problem where I'm very passionate or compassionate to others, and to such a level that my energy field sponges off of theirs, and I take on their complaints, diseases, and other strange symptoms. So I become ill from others if I open my field and allow that in. So I have to take certain measures in order to not do that. However, it doesn't always work. And I was around someone who gets panic attacks. And one day I experienced one of his panic attacks, and it was not fun. And I thought I was going to die, and it's horrifying. And I feel for anyone who has to go through it, because it's literally hell. But he came to me with this, and he sat me down. I was in a grocery store. He sat me down and he said, "Open your mouth." And he just dumped it in my mouth. And as soon as that hit the limbic system in my brain, I was out of the panic attack, just like that. I'm like, wow, what are you giving me here, And he said he always has it with him. It just stops the whole process. And if you take it regularly, it helps with anxiety. I do have another one called New Regan. It is on my website, which is yummymummyemporium.org. New Regan is a nervous system rehabilitation. So it goes even deeper into the nervous system and helps it to regenerate. I like the two together. That one's more like a syrup. And this one's just like drops. So that's really good for those who are still trying to manage things, are in panic attack mode. I have had like, geez, how many now? I don't know, lots of patients with this that we've dealt with. They don't have anxiety anymore. Like, it's gone. One in particular who came, she said, I have all these kids, we have financial stress, we have all this problem. I can't do anything. I'm freaking out all the time. I can't sleep. I can't hardly eat. I'm a mess. And we just started her off gently and worked on her detoxing and worked on getting those basic nutrients up. And for her, she needed a lot more than just adding in the nutrients, but that was for the baseline. And now she came to me, she's like, yeah, I feel really good. I feel really calm. I'm functioning better. We still have our financial stress. We're working through that, but I feel like I can cope more. I mean, I was like, oh, great. And sometimes people don't tell me that they're doing well. I just don't hear from them anymore. Like, I have a glioblastoma patient. I'm like, well, guess I'll never know what happened to that case. And like, just comes in and says, oh, it's doing really well. And oh, great. Would have been nice to know, but yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Oh, you helped us so much. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, on the aside. Yeah, thanks. Okay. Okay, so that one. I also have another tea called Relax. It's called, I don't actually know what's on the website. Maybe I should check that, eh? So it is linden. So linden flower and leaf is also very nice and relaxing. It grows around here, so I collect it. Spearmint as well, mint family. Sage as well, another mint. Chamomile, we talked about. That's a nice one also for teething for babies, and it's great homeopathic for that. You could take this in homeopathic form as well to get a similar result. And star anise, and star anise also has a lot of calming activities and behaviors, but also tastes awesome, so I put in for that. Ginkgo biloba. If you want to think clearer, then you want to take the ginkgo. Apparently, it's also it does calm and is apparently a sedative. However, I take it pretty regularly, and I don't I don't feel like drowsy from it at all. I think you'd have to take pretty high doses to get drowsy. It opens blood flow to the brain, so it assists just the repair of everything by increasing blood flow in a healthy way. So ginkgo would be something I would also make sure, again, on that coping scale, to get that coping up. Where was the coping? Coping was over here. The coping hand goes up, and ginkgo helps with that a lot. I've also made some aromatherapy blends because there's a lot of essential oils that are very helpful that you can carry around and do some breathing with and assist in reduction of stress. Like lavender is a well-known one. It can help with sleep and it can help with stress. And this actually jewelry that I'm wearing right here has lava beads on it, and I can put on the lava beads a dab of the essential oil, so I can have carry it with me if I need something in the moment, right? As opposed to just, you're out and about, get some funny looks on that. You could just kind of waft your necklace over it, or the bracelets. You could just give a little inhale on your wrist there. But I make a couple of nice ones. This one is, I call it Champa and Myrrh Natural Body Mist, and it has bergamot and lime in it. So this is a really nice one. The bergamot is very calming. Bergamot is lovely for calming, relaxing. Actually, one of my facelift in the jars, so I make facelift in a jar, it has a lot of DMSO in it as a skin cream, and one of them is bergamot scent. So if you're a stress mess, that's the one you want. And then this one also has lime, which is more of a bit of an upper. So you've got a little bit of both, where it'll help you kind of calm down, but also help you think. Rosemary is another one that helps you think. It's one that helps memory and helps your cognition. I also have this one. I've had people bang down my door for this, not even kidding. This is called grounding mist. I used to call it grounding spray. Seriously, I designed it because I teach a lot of Reiki normally, and I have been too busy to teach it lately, but I designed it for my Reiki classes. So after we did Reiki, if people felt not grounded anymore, because when you do a lot of energy work or a lot of spiritual work, you can feel all the upper chakras are all activated and you kind of feel a bit spacey. you ever met the spacey spiritual person? Yeah, they're not grounded. So this, spraying this in the air, helps you get back in your body and ground you back down. It's a lot of resins in it. So it's sandalwood and patchouli and cedarwood and lang lang. And lang lang is another relaxant, helps you to calm, helps you to chill. So you can give a little bit of a sniff on that, okay? What else do I have here? I think that's pretty, oh, I have the clarity. Oh, that was, so talking about ginkgo is helping the gut brain and the blood flow. This one I make, this, it's called Clary Tea, and it has ginkgo in it. It also has gotu kola, peppermint, ashwagandha, horsetail, white peony, which does have a little bit of caffeine, but it's very mellow, and lemongrass and spearmint. So it's a bit of an upper downer, like, you know, similar to what I was saying, where it does a bit of both, where it's like relaxing and helping you cope better, but it's also helping your brain and helping the blood go to the brain and helping you think better. So you're coping, so your stress goes down and coping goes up. So it's a bit of both, or this way. Stress goes down and coping goes up, that way. So these are all things like, so when someone comes in, you gotta address the sleep, the exercise, the water, the food, and then the basics, your B's, your magnesiums, vitamin D, enough vitamin C, I often think is a huge part of this, because their immune system is not functioning properly as well, and that's a whole interrelated into the hormones, interrelated into the way that the interleukins are, it's all together. It's all, usually you see people who, they get sick more that way. They're run down. Like when you're stressed, you're run down, you get sick. Because you're not properly detoxing through your organ system. So your body then has to express the toxins in a different way, and that's your colds and flus. It's not a viral thing that you picked up somewhere. It has nothing to do with that. When you get a cold or a flu, it's your own body who's worn down. It says, we got to get rid of toxins, guys, but she doesn't have enough nutrition to get it out through the liver as should be. So let's get it out through the snot, through the skin. Let's heat up the body to get the blood flow, because this chick ain't going for a jog. So let's give her a damn fever to get the blood flowing to where it needs to go, so we can clean out the debris. It's a very, very logical system. It's a very thoughtful and very logical system. Your body is innately intelligent. It knows what it's doing. So listen to the body. And around this time as well, I have to go in a few minutes. Around this time is a change of seasons, at least, even if you're in a different climate, usually it's like you get your dry or your wet seasons. But here in North America, we're in autumn, and this is change of season time. So you can do something called change of season soup, and it actually has astragalus in it, this one. Astragalus root is from China. It's a Chinese medicine. And change of season soup is a Chinese remedy, Chinese medicinal remedy. And you make it kind of like a decoction, a strong decoction on the stove. It's like a brew. And then you get rid of the botanicals afterwards, although most of them you can ingest if you want. And then you can either make it like an actual soup where you put vegetables in it, or you just make it like a tea where you drink that. And it prepares the body for the stress of the change of seasons. It's a normal, natural stress. There's stresses in our lives that actually are good for us. Like me going for a jog in the morning, it's actually a stress, but it's a good stress. It's a stress that stresses my muscles to repair and grow and be strong. It's a stress that helps my blood flow. It helps the sweat and the toxins get out, right? So it's a temporary stress for a long-term relaxation benefit, right? And so that's a similar thing to your detoxes, right? It's a little bit of a stress. Or the change of seasons. This is a stress because it's a change in temperature, change in your behaviors and habits and what you're wearing and their exposure to the sun and all of these things. And then that, becomes either usually it's when people get sick. Around this time is when people start to get sick. Guess what? Because they're not listening, they're not stopping and detoxing, because it's the time now to do it. So you say, when I asked when they get sick, I said, I have two types of people. I always get sick, or I never get sick. And most of the people, when they say, I never get sick, I'm like, I'm scared. Unless they detox all the time. So I ask, you must detox all the time to not get sick? Oh, no, I never. What's that? Or I've never done that, which scares the crap out of me when I hear that. I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to screen you for cancer right now. Because if you don't get sick ever and you don't detox, then that's cancer in your future. So let's move this along and make sure you start detoxing your body. How do you heal cancer? You detox. Gerson therapy is all about detoxing the body, getting the crap out of the cells, doing the coffee enemas, getting the crap out of the liver, on and on and on and on. So, you know, we have like stress and anxiety is a bigger symptom of a lot going on. It's not something I can encapsulate in an hour video. You can go and look up all these kinds of remedies that I touched on some of them. I had a bunch pulled up to talk to you about, but there's a gazillion remedies for stress and anxiety, like really. And that's also what, every time I do that, I go, stupid doctors, because they don't know one. They're like, oh, maybe I think I read something about a B vitamin, so maybe you should take a B vitamin stuff. But that's all. Or, okay, I heard about magnesium. Okay, but they're not talking about half of the gazillion remedies, and we didn't even get into half the homeopathics either. There's a lot. But I just wanted to touch on some of the big ones, get you figured out in your head what you have to do to de-stress your body and heal yourself, okay? And some of the stuff that I use across the board for this type of thing, and I have a lot of success with. I mean, I have 100% success rate. People come in with this complaint, it goes away when we do this. So I don't know how more simple I can lay it out. I do, and I just want to make a note on licorice root. Make sure if you have hypertension, you're contraindicated to use licorice root because it increases your blood pressure. And I actually tend to have on the lower side of blood pressure. It's a perfect remedy for me. I use it often. I have a powder form in my store. I have the Wise Woman herbal extract that I use, and I just take 1/4 teaspoon of the extract 5 times a day to treat my adrenals, because I like to have little bursts of it throughout the day. And it's been rehabilitating my glands very nicely. We have to do these things in this world because it is very stressful. It's especially if you live in cities, it's high paced. There's a lot of, recreational drug use that you have to detox from. There's a lot of weird behaviors and what's supposed to be socially acceptable, which is basically poisoning yourself. So poisoning yourself is supposed to be socially acceptable. And if you're healthy, most people come say I'm tired of poisoning myself, so I stopped, but I had to lose all my friends because the whole culture is just addicted. They just want to either smoke pot, drink, or go to coffee shops, and I don't do any of those. So now I don't have any friends. Like, well, you have me. I can be your friend, because they choose to love themselves and not to poison themselves, right? And I get it. Yeah, occasionally. I'm not talking about occasionally. I'm not talking about your Christmas scotch, because I will have one. But I'm saying that as a habit, as a daily behavior, that cannot be your norm to be healthy. I'm sorry. Yeah, here and there, fine. But all around, no. Sorry to burst your bubble. Yeah, it's Yummy Mummy, MUMMY, emporium.org. Yummy Mummy. Like the British way of saying, Mummy, come change my nappy. Yes. Okay, I want to do questions, but I can't because I gotta go. And see, I did it on purpose, sort of, kind of. So I love you, and I think you're awesome. And I can't do your comments, and I'm thanking you for liking and subscribing. If you're watching this on YouTube, this was a live Facebook broadcast. Hopefully it doesn't glitch all over town. And again, my website is yummymummy.apothecary.com or yummymummy.emporium.org. You can find a lot of the products I mentioned on my site or probably elsewhere. Most of these are professional supplements, so usually people who are trained have accounts with these companies. Like I'm trained, so I can get accounts. So that's why I carry these particular ones, and they're also high end, which means you get more for your dollar because they're concentrated. So thank you very much for joining me. And oh yeah, niacinamide, thank you. Yeah, well that's a B vitamin. So, but I should mention that's a good shout out on the niacin to help cope better with stress. And other one I didn't mention was kava kava. I have Kava Kava. It's also excellent for that. Although you have to, it's all dose dependent, and you can get flushing and non-flushing niacin, and it can be really intense. So don't just go buy it and like it get all crazy. I have it here as well. I have both here. But I don't go there until later. I do all this stuff first, and then we go, if we need it, we add extra niacin. You get niacin in the B vitamin anyway. Then I go there, or then I go to the Kava Kava if it's really bad, if they're really not sleeping and stuff. So I do. Those are good remedies, but they're for later. You got to get the baseline first, because that's all it could be. It might just be that, and that's it, right? Okay. Love you. Thank you, and bye-bye.